Okay, now if this would have been a round piece, you know, a normal piece that I'd have done with the bezel on the background was perfectly round, I would have inserted my little rings first, my little eye hooks first. But because this is an oblong, weird shaped piece, I'm going to wait till after, obviously. So, I've got about a, 2.5 inch little piece of probably a 20 gauge little silver plate wire that you can get at, any of the jewelry sections in your hardware store, in your craft store. And I'm going to take my little pliers, my round nose pliers right in the middle, and I'm going to bend it down. Sorry. Bend it down. This is going to be difficult. Twist it over on the bottom, cross them over on the bottom. And then I'm going to pull it off and swap it around on my pliers where I can do that again. Now, as you can see, if my camera would focus, I've got 2 loops there, and I'm going to do it one more time and make it 3. Because this is a glass stone, and they can be pretty heavy. Okay, and after the 3rd time of crossing over on the bottom, I'm going to start twisting it. Just like it would a twist on the bread. We get down to, we got 2 little short forks. But, as you see, my bail, so to speak, is facing the wrong way. So, I'm going to go just a little bit further. So I want them both laying flat. So, as you can see, I've got 2 makeshift bails. Now, if you have glue-on bails, this is a step you can totally skip. But I don't, and I don't really work with glue-on bails. This bail, let me get Santa upright here. Sorry for my reflection in the camera there. And I'm going to insert this. Now, there's going to be another row of this rope trim. So if it doesn't look really pretty at first, it's okay. Your goal is to go into the rope band and into your backing that the stone is sitting on. And I'm going to go in too far, and then I'm going to pull it back out just a little bit and push it back in. And I'm going to mash on my stone. Alright? And when that bakes, that will bake into the clay. Now, the one thing you can do is take one of your tools of some sort and just kind of fill that hole back in. And because I'm, behind the tripod, it's easier said than done. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. Now, like I said, if I wasn't behind the tripod, this would probably look a little bit neater, but excuse me while I'm off frame for a second trying to find the center. Okay, and on this one I didn't get it into the rope quite as much, so what I'll probably do is take a little scrap right here, as you can see, fill in that spot, just to give it a little extra strength. Okay, and now that I've got those in there where I need them to go, what we're going to do is go around, and I'm going to just slightly start to mash this rope up closer to the stone, because of course the whole goal of your bezel is to hold in the stone, and this particular rope is for nothing but design, so the other piece will go on top of it and it will hold the stone in. Alright, I'm going to go around and check, make sure it's all laying pretty flat. All laying pretty flat. Let's see what we got so far. Yeah, without seeing me. pretty good so far. Now you can do this with all different kinds of designs. It doesn't have to be a rope design like this. I've done it with just a straight just a straight snake around there, and then you can take your acrylic block and go around it and smooth it out and just go for a straight bezel look. Alright, I'm going to roll me out just a little bit more snake and I'll come right back. Okay, now I've got another rope, a little bit smaller size than the first one. And again, I'm going to take my, got a couple of bad bits right there. Take my Santa piece, wrap it around again. Let's make sure we get a good fit. It's going to look like at first this piece is just going to sit right on top of the other one, but you should be able to see both when it's done. Again, as the spiral turns, I'm going to cut this bit first, and I usually try to do it at the top. Seems to hide a little bit better. Now let's see if I can show you a little bit better. And you can see where the tip of this left piece meets the crease of this right piece. I'm going to cut it right there. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. My memory card quit again. I'm going to empty it and I'll come back one last time. Okay, here it is now that it's come out of the oven. Looks basically the same. What I'm going to do, since I decided to make this silver instead of gold on the bezel, is I'm just going to take this apple barrel pure excuse me, pure silver, and with a smaller, like, detailed brush, probably probably like this. Excuse me, I don't know where I got that from. And I'm gonna real carefully go in the kind of close to the stone. You don't have to go too close because, of course, it's silver on silver. So if you miss a spot, it's not really gonna show very much. So I'm gonna do that. Put a coat of the silver on there, and then I'll come right back. Now, the reason why I started talking about the fact that I kept the silver is because I also kept it stuck to the glass, because when you bake a piece to a tile, it will stick to the glass, but of course it'll come right off and give you a really nice smooth back. Okay, now I've got the silver painted on there, and I'm going to let that dry. And unfortunately, when I put this bottom eye hook in, let's see if I can show you, the wire came through or too close to the picture. I'm not sure which one, and now it's shown through to the glass. So that's unfortunate. I could do something to cover up. It's not actually very noticeable. I just happened to be moving it around and saw the glint off of it in there, so I think I'm actually just going to leave it. I could put a holly leaf. I could do something else there to cover it up if I so chose. But I'm going to let this dry, And then I'm going to put a coat of a clear water-soluble gloss varnish on there. Like I said, it's just from my local hardware store. It's a water-soluble gloss finish like you would use on a wood floor or on furniture. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put that on there and then I'll be back. Okay, real quick, while I'm waiting on this last little bit to dry of this clear, you really can't tell much of a difference. And the reason I put the clear on is because I'm going to antique it, and I want the, in this case, black paint to slide. I want it to slide off of the smooth rope. I want it to stick, of course, in all the hollows. Here's another, just an earlier piece I did. The real irregular bezel, but you can see what I'm talking about. How the difference in how plastic it starts out looking, and then to how nice and antique silver it'll turn out looking. So that's the look I'm going to go for. As soon as, like I said, I've got still a little bit wet right in here. As soon as that dries just a little bit more, I'll come right back and finish this piece up and show you what I'm going to do down here at the bottom. I've got 3 little tiny silver jingle bells. I really wanted a bigger. I have got jingle bells in every size that you could think of. In gold. In silver, I have those. That's it. Tiny, itty-bitty little jingle bells. So I'm going to use those. And I'm going to use the little snowflake that I did at the beginning, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to that. And then I've got another little piece that I might use. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute when that's dry. Okay, and because I work on a sheet of glass, I'm just going to pour out a little bit of glitter. Got this, came from Michael's. It's called Polyflake glitter. Any iridescent kind of glitter. I just like this one because it doesn't iridesce green. It's got a little green, but it's also got some yellow and some violet, and it iridesces a little different colors. So, and then I'm going to take my gloss glaze and drip me just a couple of drips down here on my table. And I just have a razor blade if something dries on my glass, and I just scrape it off. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do to the snowflake. It's already kind of pearly, and really I'd rather paint it white first, so it was just a bit whiter than the natural Sculpey color, but for tutorial purposes, I'm trying to get this done. And what I really would like to do is I would have liked to have thrown a little bit of colored glitter in there, like a little bit of blue or something, but I didn't really think it went with the pendant. And I thought red might look a little odd on a snowflake. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera. And another thing, since I was lazy and did not clean my glass towel before I baked said little snowflake, it has some little black paint embedded into the back, and I tried to sand it off, and it's pretty deep in there, so I'm going to leave it like that. There we go. And that'll dry pretty darn quick. So, while I'm waiting on this to dry, this is the other components that I've decided to use. This leaf that I had in my stash. And this is one of my so to speak, signature stones, I guess you'd say, that's done, and maybe one of these days I'll do a tutorial on that. It's pretty involved, so like this wasn't, but it's a really fun technique. And then one of these glitter balls that I also make, and the way they're made, there's no glitter that comes off on you. It's smooth and everything. So I'll be back after I empty my memory card one more time and after this dries. Alright.